You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
In a world filled with cigars, craft beer, comics, movies, and video games,
only two men are brave enough to search out all things nerdy.
It's the Cigar Nerds Podcast!
And welcome to the Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe. And yeah, I'm your only host today because Brad's still out of town for one more episode, and Amanda didn't want to watch Fallout with me, so I'm flying solo on this one. So I had to bring in a special guest host to join me. This is Chartrice. I believe she's a stripper from New Vegas. How's it going, Chartrice? She's kind of quiet. Don't worry, I've got my shotgun in the corner just in case, the ghoul goes feral on me here before the episode's over. And this is also going to be a little experiment to see if I can entertainingly talk to myself for a solid hour. For the audio listeners, don't worry, Amanda will be rejoining for science and news after this. But I didn't want to change the camera setup, so I brought someone so we could kind of keep our normal setup here. I am smoking this week this year's Punch Chinese New Year cigar. This is the Year of the Horse, which is actually just a enlarged version of the Punch Eggroll from a few years ago, which I like because kind of one of my only complaints about the yearly Chinese New Year release is that they're usually kind of small. They're always like very tasty cigars, but they're always like just compact, like the Bottle Rocket last year. That thing was like maybe 3 inches. So I felt like I had to they were inexpensive, but I always felt like I had to smoke 2 to get like a normal length of a cigar. So this one is, like I said, the same blend as the Eggroll, but bumped up to a 6x60. So we finally got a cigar ass size. And this guy has other than me in the 6x60, Connecticut broadleaf wrapper over Ecuadorian binder and a filler blend of Colombian, Dominican, Mexican, and USA tobaccos. So a UN of tobaccos here for this here Eggroll XL, as they're calling it. Another downside of you only having me today is when I stop to smoke, there's no one to fill in the conversation, so feel free to talk to me through the internet so it doesn't seem so lonely. But as they say, the show goes on, and I'm on Monster number 2. I'm drinking the White Monster. Yes, that was my nickname in high school. So hopefully the caffeine and the nicotine will give me enough verbal diarrhea to talk to myself for an hour. And talk to you fine people out there in the internet lands. So yes, this week we're going to talk about Season 2 of Fallout, aka the TV version of Fallout New Vegas. And if you've got to fight a pack of Deathclaws, you should call in the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code Cigar Nerds for 20% off your order. I wonder if anybody's making cigars in the apocalypse. I've not seen too many people enjoying a stogie in the wastelands. Maybe some crappy ones, but yeah, like needs to be someone growing some tobacco in the future. Well, so with that, let's get on into it before I run out of things to say. and we'll be right back with the main show.
To the town of our Creole rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip. And he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip. Big iron, big iron. When he tried to match the ranger with a big iron on his hip.
And we are back. Yeah, and I'm still by myself here with the lovely Chartreuse. This is gonna be the hardest part of this episode, is remembering what I named this skeleton. So her name may change throughout the episode because my memory is shot because I'm an old man. And they say one of the signs of insanity is talking to yourself, but the way to get around that is just start a podcast. That way, as long as there's a microphone in front of you, you don't look nearly as insane talking to yourself. Like, no, I'm talking to the internet. Sure, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed. And I literally have to laugh at my own jokes because there's no one else here to do it. Not that anyone usually laughs at my jokes. I gotta say before we get into it, this additional information here on this Eggroll XL is it has a exposed foot, so the wrapper doesn't go all the way to the end of the cigar. There's about maybe a half inch of just binder and filler tobacco exposed without the wrapper. So as you make your initial light on this cigar, you kind of get to taste what the blend tastes like on its own before you get into the rest of the cigar. And there we go. No, it's the volume in my headphones were lower than the volume on the microphone, so it sounded like really weird talking in my head. So, all right, we got that fixed. So now maybe it'll flow a little better. I'm sorry to anyone listening to this episode. This is going to be one of the weirdest ones, but like I said, the show must go on. I think in nearly 273 episodes, I've only had to do one other solo show, and like I said, hopefully we'll have a co-host back next week. So yeah. Fallout Season 2. I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoy this series, even as someone who never played the video game. Because, I mean, I need to get back into video games. I kind of took a break from video games basically because I started working from home after the apocalypse, and it's really hard to spend 8 hours stuck in an office and then start trying to play video games in that same office. Yeah, I'm like, no, I've been here too long. I have to go out and touch grass. So I kind of not played games in a long time. And even when I did play games, it was either fighting games or like first-person shooters. So more RPG stuff. Vegas always, the Fallout games always looked just a little more, I don't know, too involved for me. I like just simple, dumb things that I don't have to, think about too much. But I know it's like, it's one of those that like, I stayed away from it so long that, and everyone like loved those games so much that I'm like, I'm so far behind, I don't want to get into it because everyone else is so deep into it. So it was unusual when this show came out that, like, me having zero knowledge of, like, the lore and the backstory, and that I was like, this shit is written well enough that even if you are a fan of the Fallout games, there's definitely enough Easter eggs and stuff in there that will, like, you're like, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's from this game or whatever. I mean, I've heard of New Vegas. I've never played New Vegas. So the reveal at the end of last season that Hank was heading toward Vegas, I was like, oh shit, I see where they're going with this. But even if you're someone like me, if you've not gotten into it yet, it's still, like, very entertaining. I'm like, this is a good, well-written series that, like I said, even though they said they do include all the cool things from the games that you're going to want to, as a fan of the games, you're going to want to see, you're not going to be super lost if you're like me and not as familiar with the games. It's one of those, it walks that fine line of, like, enough fan service to the source material, but also does well enough of explaining the world that even if you're, not up to speed, you're like, all right, yeah, I get it. I'm here. I'm following along. And also, I'm just getting over a cold, so I feel good, but there's still some residual crud in the lung that likes to work itself out. So sorry for any coughing you may hear. A little leftover con crud, just to sidetrack for a minute, because if you're a fan of this show, you know we like to go on tangents, and I don't really need a co-host here to for me to get distracted and go on a tangent. Right, Churchies? Anyway. Yeah, we just got, last weekend, we went to a local steampunk convention, Con Possible, which we've not been in the last couple of years. We kind of started going up to one up in Kentucky, but so we kind of took a year or two off, but it was fun. Got to hang out with some old friends. Strange J was there. We drank a lot of pie with him. Calamity from Calamity Labs was there doing her usual mixology panels, and got to drink some fine cocktails with her. And also, these cons tend to have VIP packages, and they'll do exclusive events for the VIPs. This was kind of a last minute decision, so we didn't sign up for the VIP passes for this particular con. But since we know everybody, Calamity was hosting the VIP meet and greet cocktail party, so she told the people running the con that we were her guests for the party. So we got to go to the VIP cocktail party and hang out with everybody, even though we weren't technically VIPs this time around. Did a little Victorian self-defense panels and watched some teapot racing and tea dueling and some fine chicanery. So yeah, if you like getting dressed up fancy, and Fallout especially does have some steampunk aesthetics, yeah, you should go check that out and drink some pie. So yeah, we last season of Fallout, the ghoul reveals that he is trying to locate his family, and he believes Hank is the key to that, and Lucy's trying to find out why she knows her father turned out to be a bad dude and blew up Shady Sands and possibly killed the NCR. And she wants to track him down and bring him back to Vault 33 for justice. One thing I liked, because we know I'm a huge gun nerd. When we start with kind of a flashback to like pre-apocalypse, introducing Robert House, the Lord of New Vegas, if you will, and whatever leader of was it Robco. We see kind of in the pre-war era him trying to eliminate jobs with automatons and the people protesting the dirty clankers, and he ends up going into a bar and kind of starting a little trouble with some of the pissed off residents, so he can then offers them a shitload of money to test his mind control device, and when that doesn't work, he just plugs it in anyway and forces this guy to basically kill his compatriots, and then turns up the juice a little too high and his head explodes. So, but he's like very much like, well, yeah, you got to work the kinks out in the system. So he's revealed to be probably not the best of dudes. But then we jump forward in time to our current apocalypse, and the ghoul has been captured. And Lucy is in a mouth of a big-ass dinosaur statue with a beautiful A-Team Edition Mini 14. This is one of my bucket list guns. I love that metal folding stock. So as soon as I saw Lucy up there, like, using it as a sniper rifle, I was like, damn it, I want that even more now, because now it's like part of two nerd properties. It's the A-Team rifle and it's the Fallout rifle. Because, that gun used to be super rare because it was only made in like the 80s, and then the original assault weapons band, they kind of discontinued it. So it was like super popular on the A-Team, and then it was like not available afterward. But recently, Ruger has basically re-released it with that original metal folding stock from the A-Team. So, the muzzle device is a little different, but it's pretty close to that original, I think it was the AC556 design. It at least has that A-Team aesthetic. Yeah. I just want to smoke cigars and shoot my Mini 14 and say I love it when a plan comes together. So yeah, seeing that rifle on Fallout, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is. That's fucking dope. I want that so bad. But yeah, but Lucy's still struggling with life in the wasteland, and because she's not had 200 years of perspective that Cooper has, aka the Gould. So she's still trying to play by the moral rules, the golden rule, as she says, and it gets them into a little trouble because she doesn't realize that shit's bad out there for a playa. So, Ghoul's plan is that, he's going to let himself be captured, and Lucy's just supposed to, because they're hanging him over a pool, supposed to shoot the rope so he can then ambush all these guys and take their shit. But, she tries to negotiate. And like, hi, his plan was to kill all you guys, but I'm still a good person, and I don't want to just kill people willy-nilly. So I'm going to give y'all a chance to surrender and to see maybe like share some food and water with us, which of course that goes as expected. And she tries to still be violent, but not kill anybody. So she's like just sniping people in the ass and shooting legs and everything else, and then freaking Cooper is just finishing them all off. And he's like, "Lady, your ass shooting is going to get us killed. Specifically, it's going to get me killed. So knock that golden rule shit off. It's survival of the fittest out here." And I love Walter Goggins as an actor. I mean, bro was meant to play a post-apocalyptic cowboy. Like, the fucking Ghoul is like the damn coolest character in TV history. Like, he has some of the best just lines. Like, one of my favorites from like season 1, where he's like surrounded by the Brotherhood, and he's like, "I used to wear that power armor. Only problem was there was a weak spot underneath the chest plate. I wonder if they ever fixed that in the new models." And then like just shoots the guy, and he's like, "Guess not." And then proceeds to like just murk everybody. But yeah, I think this season to me is like, it's a series of side quests, because we had our kind of the majority of our characters together in season 1, where in this one we've got 3 very separate storylines that our heroes don't really get back together until maybe the final episode. So it's like and everyone's stories are like not really connecting. So yeah, we definitely get like, oh, correction, 4 separate storylines. So it's like we're constantly jumping back and forth between different stories. So we've got the Ghoul / Lucy storyline of them making it to Vegas. And then we've got, last scene is ended with Maximus returning to the Brotherhood of Steel, and now he's like a legitimate knight and kind of failed upward, and he's like the badass of this Brotherhood chapter. So we get kind of a long time with his story, and then we've got Norm, aka Lucy's brother, who we last saw trapped in the management vault that we find out is just basically people from original Vault-Tec employees from pre-apocalypse that they just kind of unthaw one every couple of years when they need a new overseer. And then you've got what's her name? Betty, as the, so now we got like, the other surviving Vault Dwellers, both 33 and 32 Vault Dwellers. So we got their story, and it's like, yeah, everyone's kind of got their own thing this season, which is a bit weird. So let's start with Maximus's story arc this season. Yeah, we get introduced to, like, I'm going to say the Brotherhood of Steel expanded universe. We see there's not just his chapter, but there's also several other chapters, including the Commonwealth, who apparently is like the biggest, baddest chapter. And we know, like, at the end of last season, the cold fusion device ended up in the hands of the Brotherhood, and so now they're using it to, the hell's his name? Quintus. Yeah, Cleric Quintus, who runs Maximus's Brotherhood of Steel, the San Fernando chapter. He wants to use this power to like build new suits and basically unite the Brotherhood under like his leadership. So he calls everybody in for this meeting. And one of their missions is to power up find this device that they power up basically these wind turbines and unlock Area 51 as their new base camp. And all the little Easter eggs in Area 51 where they're going through all the shit and you see like all this like alien shit, like one where they like open a fridge and there's like just a freaking dead alien in there and they're like, oh my god, it's a working refrigerator. Just like toss the dead alien out and like, man, we can fit so many snacks in this thing. Oh yeah, I like that the Brotherhood, they appear advanced, but they're all basically morons. They're dudes that are just collecting lost technology to, preserve the future, but they're also like kind of religious zealots. And so like none of them actually know how to, they can operate this machinery, but none of them knows how it like works or how to like invent new shit. But yeah, but they have the coolest stuff. They have like the freaking little, whatever, Zeppelins and the flying aircraft and whatnot. So they at least appear on the surface to be the most advanced thing in the wastelands. But yeah, it's all just like cobbled together shit they found in the deserts. They're all like mostly seem to be a bunch of morons. But you get whatever. Cause they, made sure to exclude the Commonwealth, but then Paladin Xander Harkness, the representative of the Commonwealth, shows up anyway, and it's Kamal Nanjiani. Like, I think this season 1 turned out so big that like everyone wanted like a cameo in season 2. So we got Kamal Nanjiani, we got Natasta Hensridge playing Stephanie's, aka Betty's. Stephanie. Betty was the other overseer. Stephanie playing her mother. You got Ron Perlman showing up as a super mutant that saves the Ghoul, who also voiced those, some of those characters in the original games. So it was kind of cool seeing him get a cameo. I'm assuming he's probably going to play a bigger role next season. And then we had what's his name? Macaulay Culkin as one of the Kaisar's Legion. So yeah, I mean this season's like full of guest stars. So yeah, Xander shows up and you think he's kind of a cool dude, and he starts, kind of chatting up Maximus, and then he's like, hey man, why don't you there's a lot of stress going on here. Why don't you and me go on a side quest, and detected some kind of technology that we need to go destroy. And they find some automatons out in a factory, but then they also come across Maximus's old partner, who we think was a ghoul last season, but may actually be a mutant. Basically, taking over an old bottling factory using ghoul kids to open soda bottles so they can collect the bottle caps, because bottle caps are the currency of the apocalypse. And then you realize his new cool, Commonwealth Brotherhood are kind of racist against schools and wants to execute his friend and the children, and Maximus can't stand for that and has to whack him with a pretty badass rocket sledgehammer. And then realize, I think I just started a Brotherhood Civil War, so, hey, you jump in the suit and pretend to be him, and we'll go back and kill Quintus before, we can start this war kicks off. Which doesn't go too well, because Maximus made some bad decisions, but he's also kind of trying to be a good dude, so he hesitates and is unable to kill him, but chaos still ensues, and the Brotherhood Civil War breaks off. But before he leaves, Maximus takes the cold fusion back, and he's like, I need to go give this to a good person. We got to go find Lucy. She'll know what to do with this. And as they leave the Brotherhood in ruins, then you got poor old Norm, who's stuck in his vault with the brain attached to a Roomba. Good old Bud Askins. And he's like, you're going to starve to death in here. Let me give you a choice. You can either crawl into one of the open cryo chambers and I'll put you to sleep, or I can instantly kill you with my syringe hand. But Norm, being the resortful person that he is, realizes this dude's just a brain on a Roomba. Let me go kick the syringe out of his hand, and I'm just gonna curb stomp him, and I'm just gonna unlock everybody's cryo tubes, because somebody probably knows how to get out of here. And then pretends to be I'm the super manager, and this is a management test, so who can find the way out of here first? And tries to lead these Vault Tech middle managers out into the wasteland. And he finally gets his first look at the outside world. But it turns bad quickly, because he finds out that his vaults were basically just supposed to be part of an experiment. And he's kind of trying to figure out what Vault Tech's plan was for his people, and find his father and Lucy, not knowing that his father is one of the big bads. But his ruse is found out that he is not actually who he says he is, and the Vault Tech employees try to kill his ass. But fortunately for him, he opens up, as they're trying to kick his ass, they accidentally open an elevator that's being used as a roach farm, and roaches got to eat. So with the exception of the one girl that was nice to him, he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna let the roaches eat y'all's ass. Which is a decision that I can't argue with. Those people were kind of dicks. And then back into, and yeah, I'm saving Cooper and Lucy's story for the last, because that one's probably got the most stuff going on. But then we've got what's going on in the vault after everyone's left. You've got Stephanie, who's now the new boss of Vault 32. And we get a lot more of her backstory, why she's kind of shady, because we learn that all the overseers are actually original Vault Tech employees that have just been cryogenically frozen. But we found out she kind of wormed her way into the whole Vault Tech thing. She was actually a Canadian refugee during the Resources Wars, and basically killed her way into America, and ends up seducing a young Hank to kind of worm her way into the vaults, so she can because her number one rule is survival. And she's trying, the original Vault, Vault 33, they're running out of water, and they're kind of slowly breaking down into chaos because you got, the one guy, trying to do a revolution, starting a whole, support group for inbred people, and having water parties when they're dangerously low on water and about to have a riot. And then you got, Stephanie trying, we'll give you some water, but I need, something from Hank's office, which we find out later is a communication device because apparently all this time, Hank has actually secretly been an employee of the Enclave, which may be the big bad. We find out is possibly the remnants of the original U.S. government and the ones kind of funding this mind control experiment that House was doing, and was also the ones who invented the cold fusion, and possibly the ones who started the apocalypse, and is running all these experiments. And poor Woody, dumb Woody, sees Stephanie outside of the vault talking to the other overseer, and rules are you got to report that behavior to the authority, but unfortunately the person you're reporting on is the authority. So she's like, oh yeah, I'll do a thorough investigation on this. And then Woody disappears. But, her Chet, her boyfriend, forced fiance, finds his glasses in the garbage disposal, because, where else are you going to dispose of a body in a vault, I guess? And also her Canadian ID, so when she tries to force him to marry her, he reveals her secret Canadian origins, which people seem more pissed off about that than the fact that she possibly killed Woody. So she has to flee to and lock herself in her office, and kind of her story ends with her calling the Enclave and start phase 2. And we don't get to see what phase 2 is, but the files Norm found said that Vault 32 and 33 were going to be part of a forced evolutionary virus. So I'm assuming they're going to release some kind of gas that turns all those Vault dwellers into super mutants next season. If Lucy doesn't get home and stop it. I'm having to talk a lot more than I normally do, and my voice is getting dangerously bad. Time for some more Monster. So you turning feral over there yet? Okay, still not talking to me. That's probably a good thing. It means I haven't lost my mind yet. And the other thing about these cool Punch Chinese New Year cigars is they put a fortune on the back of the band, kind of like a fortune cookie. And this particular one I have unwrapped says, "Hard work will pay off in the future. Laziness will pay off now." So, do with that information what you will. I gotta say the musical choices this season have been good. Some of the Ghoul stuff with them playing was that song Big Iron? If you're a fan of Brandon Herrera, you've definitely seen the Big Iron memes. So yeah, that song went well with the whole Ghoul thing. So back to the main quest of Lucy and the Ghoul. Yeah, she slowly loses her whole golden rule thing. When she ends up, they end up finding somebody calling for help and Coop tries to tell her nope, let it go. But her being a good person has to go check, and ends up, they find two people that have been injured, and Ghoul kills one of them because he recognized that they are part of Kaiser's Legion, because they can't pronounce Caesar for some reason. And ends up getting hit by this scorpion thing and injured. And Lucy's only got one med pack left, and she's like, you'll survive. She won't, so let me give it to her, and I'll return her to her people, and then I'll come back and get you. But when she tries to return her to her people, they execute the lady for losing her legionnaire, and decide to crucify Lucy. Yeah, and then we were introduced to another faction from the game, the Legionnaires, which is basically a bunch of dudes that have, in the apocalypse, I guess, that read one too many Roman books and are trying to bring back the whole Roman Legion. But Caesar died, supposedly with the name of his successor in his pocket. So now two rival forces are all just kind of at a stalemate, because Caesar's body's in no man land, and if either side tries to approach his body to find out who the next Caesar is going to be, they start shooting each other, because neither one of them wants to be wrong. And, of course, the Ghoul fixes himself and begrudgingly goes to rescue Lucy from the Legion, and comes across, realizing he's going to need some assistance, goes across an old abandoned NCR base and finds an old automaton buddy of his, and he tells him that where the NCR remnant is, which turns out to be just two people up on a mountain. And he goes and supposedly gives their location, to the Legion as to trade for Lucy's life. But he ends up, blowing up Caesar's body and starting a civil war on his way out, just so they don't come after him or the NCR, and takes Lucy to their base for medical treatment. And Lucy has her first experience with drugs. And I like that after they get out of there, she's like, why am I all twitchy and feel, he's like, well, you've been on drugs for the last 3 days, so you're probably pretty addicted by now. And she's like, oh my God, what'd I do? He's like, well, you got two choices. One is detox, which is going to take several days and it's going to suck really bad, or do more drugs. And I recommend the latter. The do more drugs always works out better. And then when they get into New Vegas, because, Hank has made it to the a special manager's vault under the Lucky 38 casino, where he's now trying to perfect House's mind control devices, and which his first successful attempt, he finds the old snake oil salesman from season 1 trying to hook up with a sex bot named Fisto. And I like it when he sees, dude, just go hide behind a bush and watch like a normal pervert. Why are you up here so close? I'm trying to get my robot sex on. So, Hank's way of rebuilding society is to enslave it. But yeah, but of course, when Coop and them get there, they find out the hotel's guarded by a breeding pack of Deathclaws. But Lucy just going kind of cracked out herself and shooting all the feral Elvis impersonating ghouls was pretty hilarious. But then, Coop tells her, hey, go to they end up in the Free Side, which is kind of like the town that has popped up on the outskirts of Vegas. He's like, hey, go to the store, get something called detox or whatever that'll clean the drugs out of your system. But she gets in there and decides to try to steal it because she don't have any money, and finds out somebody has already murdered the store owner, and she ends up having to shoot him, and then steals the stuff and a sweet power fist. And then gets back to the ghoul, who one of Hank's minions has made an offer he can't refuse. Like, hey, take Lucy home, and I'll keep your family alive, because I do have your family. And, Ghoul has that moment of he's gonna have to betray Lucy to save his family. But she power punches him out the freaking window, where he falls on a spike and almost goes feral because he gets stuck there without his meds. And Lucy gets drugged and taken into Hank's lab, where he shows her all the fuckery he's been committing, and he shows her how the technology works, how she takes like two, a Legionnaire and an NCR guy, and that are fighting to the death, and then forces her to activate the chip to like stop them from killing each other. And she kind of has that little bit of hesitation where she's like, enslaving people are wrong, but they're kind of nice now. So is one better than the other? And even when Hank, tries to talk shit about the NCR, and she's like, so our choices are like a evil enslaving corporation or another group that is kind of problematic. Like I said, it's go either way. And of course, the ghoul gets rescued by a super mutant, and we're introduced to good old Ron Perlman, who heals the Gould and tries to get him to join his mutant Gould army so they can fight against the human oppression, which he refuses. He's like, I'm still on a mission to find my family. So he knocks him out and leaves him in a garage. But good old Dog Meat finds Maximus and his sidekick and brings him to help the ghoul. And we got a lot more of kind of the pre-apocalyptic backstory. So we got a bunch of flashbacks to Cooper pre-apocalypse. Originally, they want him to basically assassinate Mr. House because they think he's going to be the one that's... Voltec is trading the cold fusion to him for missiles that are going to set off the apocalypse. And, House meets with Cooper and tells him, like, no, he's actually, I need the cold fusion because I want to basically turn myself and others into robots so we can survive the future. And I've kind of done the calculations. I know exactly when the apocalypse is going to happen, but it's not going to be me that's starting it. There's some kind of unknown third party that I think is going to be the one to drop the bombs. And, I think somehow, because I've done the math, that you're going to be involved in it. And, we see a young Hank turns out to be the courier for the cold fusion, and Coop convinces his wife that, we can't start the apocalypse, and, she was the one... told him that basically the only reason why who we later find out is the Enclave is the one that kind of threatened her family to suggest Voltec starting the apocalypse. And of course we our little kind of boring hapless senator Coop doesn't trust the rebellion that becomes the NCR, It definitely doesn't trust Vault-Tec. So he's like, well, maybe I'm a former Marine. Maybe I should trust the government. And he's like, but I don't trust this senator. And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't trust me either. I'm kind of lame. How about we give it to the president? Another great guest star, Clancy Brown, playing the president. And of course, Coop gives him the cold fusion, which somehow shit goes bad in the intervening years, and apocalypse still happens despite his best effort at stopping it. We also even get like some flashbacks to like Cooper's pre-actor years, where we see him and as part of the Alaskan campaign against the Chinese, and some very shitty power armor that's malfunctioning, and then we get the as the Chinese are about to take him out, we get introduced to our first Deathclaw, who we realize it could possibly be an American experimental bioweapon. But hey, there's so much cock teasing in those things too, because like we saw them, Lucy and Ghoul, facing it very early on, but the episode ends without them having to fight it, and then it's several episodes before we finally get our big battle. So like, Cooper's like, I'm gonna help you rescue Lucy, but you're gonna have to give me the cold fusion. And he's like, takes them to the armory, and he like presents Maximus with an OG original NCR version of a power armor. He's like, these don't have tracking suits. These have never belonged to the Brotherhood. So him and his guy who's like, I'm a ghoul, and he's like, there's like teeth growing on his chest. This is normal, right? And he's like, you might not be a ghoul. And then his freaking arm falls off. Says, I can still figure out how to be a sniper. And he's like, he finally like working the gun with his feet and shit. But yeah, Maximus goes in there and like finally fights the Deathclaws, and is doing a pretty good job of fucking him up, I gotta say, until the suit's finally like completely damaged, and he has to, but he, like, at this point the wall containing the Deathclaws is down, and he's like, they're just gonna slaughter all these people in Freetown. So even without the suit, he like picks up a shield and a spear, and he's like ready to like fight these things. But then one of them's head just explodes, because to this point we thought the NCR was completely gone. But he looks up at his sniper buddy, and he's like, "Wasn't me." And then camera pans over to a freaking NCR sniper with a 50 cal, and you just get that cool camera shot of like just straight down the barrel of the 50 and that muzzle blast, and then like a whole like company of NCR troops come in, and he's like, "We'll handle it from here, soldier." And he's like, "Yep, that's probably a good idea." And the town is at least temporarily saved. But of course, Macaulay Culkin wins his civil war and becomes the new Caesar, and they're like, "We're going to go to Vegas and start a Caesar's palace." So now we got the Legion marching their way to Vegas. So we'll see if the NCR can save Vegas from the Legion. Because, they definitely left things probably just as fucked up as we started at the end of the season. And Coop gets into House's office, uses the cold fusion to power up basically House's mainframe, and he successfully turned himself into a computer. And he's like, "You're right, there is a vault underneath here. Put on this Pip-Boy, and I'll guide you to where your family's at." And in the meantime, Hank is trying to convince Lucy to join his side, but she's like, no, this is evil. She realizes, because she meets one of the NCR soldiers that had helped her, is now one of the mind controlled, and realizes like it doesn't just prevent bad behavior, it basically erases your mind and your free will. So she handcuffs Hank to a stove and goes to like destroy the mainframe. And we find out the mainframe is the severed, zombified head of our hapless senator from the pre-apocalypse era. Which I thought was a pretty cool effect, you know. She wakes up and is like, kill me, kill me. Which Lucy do. And then, yeah, Hank decides like, well, I'm trying to convince you, I'm just going to make you now, so here's my latest version of the mind control device. It's completely undetectable. You'll just have a little scar. But, of course, Ghoul shows up and saves her. And Hank's like, so you here to kill me? And he's like, that ain't up to me. What say you, Miss Volty? And like tosses her his boot gun. And he's like, yeah, he's your problem. You figure it out. I'm going to go rescue my family, which he finally gets to their cryo tubes, and unfortunately they're empty. But there is a clue. There's a postcard from his wife saying, you're right, Colorado was a better idea. So we end with Coop and Dogmeat reunited, riding off into the sunset, heading to Colorado to see if he can find out what happened to his family. And we also get Lucy basically just like deciding to... The ultimate punishment for her father's bullshit is to use his device on him. And she's like, I'm going to make you be the father that you always claim to be. But first, I need you to tell me what exactly you've done. And he's like, well, the Legion's coming. They're going to destroy New Vegas one way or another. And what I did here, I passed my information to all the other groups out there. So, just because you just stopped my factory, there's plenty of other factories making these things, and we're still going to win. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I've got my own remote. I'm going to erase my own brain before I give you any other information. So, good luck. So we'll see if Hank survives the next season or not, because he's mind wiped, but so far he's not dead, which is kind of disappointing because he's a huge dick. And then in post credits, we get another kind of cool game reference reveal for next season. We cut back to the midst of the Brotherhood of Steel Civil War, and Quintus is getting bombed, and he calls for a piece of a relic, which turns out to be blueprints, and he's like, Quintus the Uniter is now dead, and I shall become Quintus the Destroyer, and opens up the blueprints, and you see the blueprints for a massive murder bot called Liberty Prime. If you're familiar with the games, I had to go look up what Liberty Prime was after the show was over, which was basically a big murder bot that the U.S. government built to win the wars that never actually got used pre-apocalypse, and then the Brotherhood dug it up after the war, and shenanigans ensued. And then, of course, Lucy and Maximus are reunited as the Legion marches on Vegas with the new Caesar, Macaulay Culkin. And you've got, as Stephanie's locked in her office, calling to initiate the next phase of the program, which is the forced evolutionary virus, probably. You see the Enclave finally revealed their, like, secret, whatever, Arctic base with all their high super technology and how they're listening to everyone's radio transmissions. Hank's, Norm's, Stephanie's. So we'll see who our big bad is next season, because it's either going to be a showdown with the Enclave, the Legion, the Brotherhood and their giant robot, fucking Coop and fighting Sasquatch in Colorado, whatever happens to Lucy and Maximus. We find out what Thaddeus, if he's a mutant, a Gould, or going to become something completely new and unseen. And hopefully Ron Perlman will come back with his army of super mutants and liberating mutant and ghoul kind. There's so many damn factions in this show that it's like, yeah, we're gonna have a lot to straighten out next season. I gotta say, it's like, yeah, like it when a show kind of brings in things to a landing, but not Fallout. Fallout just each season leaves you with more questions than you had last season. But overall, really enjoyed the show. Go check it out. I may have to, like, fire up the PlayStation or computer or whatever and start playing Fallout so I can kind of have a clue about what's going on next season. Or at least go play Fallout New Vegas so I can see how that all tied into the events of this season. So as I wrap this up here, you still got nothing to say over there? Okay. Kind of final thoughts here on the egg roll. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's kind of beefy. It's like I said, it's got some pepper. It's very, very savory to me. Yeah, it's got some pepper, a little earthiness, some spice to it. And in this bigger, it had some strength in the smaller size, but now that you got this bigger size, a lot more strength coming through. So yeah, these are damn good. Definitely go get them while they're out. And it's about an $8 stick. None of these Punch Chinese New Year cigars have been what I call expensive. I mean, this is probably a little bit higher than the previous years, but you're getting a lot more cigar for your money than you have in previous years. So yeah, that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully I won't be by myself next episode. So yeah, we'll be right back with science.
Well, I don't know, but I've been told uranium ore is worth more than gold. So, my cad, I bought me a Jeep. I got that bug and I can't sleep. Uranium fever has gone and got me down. Uranium fever is spreading all around. With a Geiger counter in my hand,
I'm going out to take me some government land.
Uranium fever has gone and got me down. Well, I had a talk with the AEC, and they brought out some maps that looked good to me. And one showed me a spot he said he knowed, so I straddled my Jeep and headed down the road. I reckon I drove about 100 miles down a bumpy road out through the wilds, when all of a sudden I bounced to a stop at the foot of a mountain, didn't have no top. Uranium fever has gone and got me down. Uranium fever is spreading all around. With a Geiger counter in my hand,
I'm going out to take me some government.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
And I'm Tony Heath.
And we're the hosts of the Watchathon of Rassilon.
A podcast where we used to talk about all of classic Doctor Who.
But we finished all of that.
So now, we're talking about New Who.
Well, old New Who.
Right, the Russell T Davies era.
Well, the old Russell T Davies era.
Yeah, the David Tennant stuff.
Well, the old David Tennant stuff.
The Watchathon of Rassilon.
Your podcast for old, new, and old new Doctor Who.
And we're back. And actually, I'm not alone anymore.
Yay! It is your friendly neighborhood Ginger Avenger back to save the day. Dun da da!
Yeah, she kicked Chartreuse out of her chair, and
Yep.
she's back for the science and news segment. So finally get somebody to talk to other than me.
Yay!
Ooh, that's loud.
Sorry, my bad.
We didn't do a mic check. Your previous occupant there was a little quiet, so.
Well, if she wasn't, then I'd really be concerned.
Well, since Fallout featured the new Roman Legion, we're going to talk about some Roman science.
Yay, science!
Oh yeah, this is the science segment.
That's what I said.
Scientists find first physical evidence. Yes, but I didn't say welcome to science because, like I said, shit's weird, man. Speaking of shit, Romans used human poop as medicine.
They used animal poop as medicine too, but that's all beside the point. But that's been done for a long time.
Scientists have found the first physical evidence. Imagine what that is. The Romans used human poop as medicine.
Gee, I have a guess. How many guesses do I get?
Although Roman texts have described the practice, this is the first time that physical evidence has been documented, according to a study published in the Journal of Archaeological Science.
Woo! Yay! Maybe should have not done tequila beforehand, but it's fine.
Dude, I'm on like monster number 2 and half a cigar, so.
What do you mean half?
I still got a good 3.5 inches.
That's what she said. Yep. It's going to be that kind of show.
Yeah.
It's going to be that kind of entertainment.
Lead study author Sinker Attila, archaeologist of Turkey's Sivas. Well, that's a whole word I'm not going to pronounce.
Spell it.
Spelling it makes it worse. It looks like it's Cumhuriyet.
Cumhuriyet
University. Cumhuriyet.
All right, let me see if I can find this.
Cumhuriyet.
Hold on, I've got this. I have got this.
So yeah.
Cumhuriyet. That's what would be my guess. University.
Anyway, basically, they spotted residues in some Roman glass bottles that they were studying, known as unguentaria, at the Bergama Museum during research for glass objects from Bergama Museum, a book that they were working on. They analyzed the residue after removing the clay cap and collecting samples of brownish flakes within the bottle. They found out it contained human feces and a high concentration of thyme and olive oil.
Thyme.
Whatever.
It's an herb.
Thyme.
It's an herb.
So yes, they. So because of the ancient textual sources, they recognize this as a medicinal preparation used by the famous Roman physician Gallian.
I mean, to be fair, they do still do this. It's part of a fecal transfer, and they do still do this. If you wipe out all the healthy...
yeah, you got to rebuild the gut biome.
Yeah,
by
if you wipe out all your healthy gut biome, you have to get a fecal transfer to rebuild that, because... I think it's overdosing on antibiotics and
According
stuff
to
like
the
that.
text, this treatment using both human and animal feces were known as treatments for conditions ranging from inflammation and infection to reproductive disorders.
I mean, to be fair, we do use civet feces as coffee, so...
Oh, cat shit coffee?
Cat shit coffee. Although I still don't think they're actually related to cats, but yeah, civet. We use that for coffee, so...
Yeah, I mean, U.S. FDA has approved 2 fecal transfer products for the prevention of or recurrent bacterial infection of the colon in adults. So yeah, this is still a thing used today.
Yep, they still do that.
But now we got proof of Roman...
Well, somebody was ahead of their time, but of course it would have been the Romans, if anybody.
So, I thought it was the Greeks that liked the butt stuff.
Greeks liked everything. Animal, human, Greeks liked everything.
So, from there to, it's not a science segment unless we talk about the impending robot apocalypse.
Oh, God, here we go.
But now apparently we have emo bots.
Emobot. I want an emobot.
So yeah, this creepy humanoid robot face learned to move its lips more accurately by watching itself in a mirror and watching YouTube.
Isn't that when they become self-aware, when they start looking at themselves in the mirror? And then they decide, I'm not a thing, I'm a person, and then we have Judgment Day, and everything goes to hell.
Staring at itself in a mirror, becoming a narcissist.
It becomes self-aware.
So yeah, basically this robot learned how its silicone lips would move in response to its 26 facial motors by staring at its reflection and then comparing that to YouTube videos to try to basically imitate the proper human movements.
Which YouTube is exactly how we want our computers to become self-aware. That's exactly where we want them to go. I guess it could be worse. It could be on TikTok, which is, a cesspool, but I love it.
So yeah, each of those 26 motors has up to 10 degrees of freedom. But yeah, let me see if it's the
I don't know if I want any of my
artificial
robots
intelligence system they called a vision to action language model, meaning it learned how to translate what it sees into coordinated physical movements without predefined rules. So basically, it legitimately learned how to use facial expressions.
So it legitimately is self-aware. It's aware of its own facial expressions.
During the training, the robot made thousands of seemingly random expressions and lip movements while it stared at its own reflection in the mirror. Next, the scientist set Emo in front of hours of YouTube videos showing humans talking in different languages and singing. This allowed it to connect its knowledge of how its motors moved to produce facial movements and corresponding sounds, all without understanding what was being said. But eventually, Emo was able to take a spoken audio in 10 different languages and synchronize its lips near perfectly. So we just basically built a lip sync bot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that could go over real well in certain places. So it's not just like, is it a man, is it a woman anymore? It's is it a robot? Is it human?
So now the Terminator can, sing us the latest karaoke hits as he's slaughtering us.
I mean, like some K-pop. I could go down to K-pop. That'd be all right. Some Demon Hunters. I could go down to some Demon Hunters. That's cool.
Kind of one of the purposes of this is that as robots kind of take over customer service roles, they need to be able to have a friendly face when dealing with the public.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Spoken from somebody that was in customer service for 22 many years. Yeah. Nope. The best thing for customer service workers, especially long-term customer service workers, was masks. Because I can cover that lower half of my face.
It also was a big boon for the adult entertainment industry.
How so?
I talked to a guy during the apocalypse who was an owner of a strip club.
Uh-huh.
And he said he kind of enjoyed the COVID regulations because now he could hire the ugly strippers. That
I mean, I'm sure they enjoyed it too. Don't have to put makeup on the bottom half of your face. And
he said because he had too many that had let's just say nice bodies, but the teeth may not all be there. He said with the mask you can't can't tell. So he was he was able to widen his employee base during COVID.
Of course, you'd have to be really good at reading facial expressions to detect disgust in just eyes. So that probably the customers probably thought they were doing better too. She didn't scowl at me. Well, she can't. So you can't see her mouth.
Oh, but also, if we're gonna fight the robots, we're gonna need freaking lasers. In Japan,
I need sharks with frickin' lasers on their frickin' heads. How hard is this? Never mind.
Mini-me, quit humping the laser. Japan trials a 100 kilowatt laser weapon that can cut through metal and drones mid-flight.
Yes, and your Volkswagen below them too. Actually, like right through that Volvo, like it was butter.
No, this is naval base, so it's shooting up. You don't have to worry about the Volkswagens.
Oh, okay.
It's not an aerial based laser system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Japan has developed a system that fires laser beams, powerful enough to disable small drones. It was installed on board a 6,200-ton warship. The weapon combines 10 lasers, each 10 kilowatt in power, into a single 100 kilowatt beam, giving it enough focused power to burn through metal surfaces. It is a fiber laser, meaning the beam is generated by light being amplified and focused as it travels through a solid state optical fiber. Engineering the system specifically to shoot down drones and mortar rounds and other lightweight airborne threats.
What do we define as lightweight, or does it say? Probably doesn't say.
It'd be like small missiles. Not like,
Planes?
a full plane, but like, basically shooting munitions out of the sky. Incoming missiles, bombs, whatever. Armed drones. They can supposedly snipe it out of the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the system is soon being sent to the sea for its first trials under real maritime conditions. These are due to start around the end of this month.
So now we're going to get whales without
lasers.
No balloons on their head in their blowhole. It's going to be pieces of drone in their blowhole. It's
probably.
That's not a good thing.
And lastly, if anyone's been watching, the Olympics is going on. And one of those like late night sitting at a bar when all the kind of more interesting sports are over, curling is always kind of a good having a beer at the bar Olympic sport to watch in the Winter Olympics.
Is that just because you're trying to figure out how it's scored? Because nobody knows how curling is scored?
Exactly. Well, apparently all Olympic curling stones come from the same place.
Yeah, it's probably due to a high mineral count of some sort or something.
And they're Scottish.
Ooh, that makes everything better. Scottish makes everything better.
So yes, all the Olympic curling stones come from one small island off Scotland's coast.
As they should.
So, yes, the strictly regulated curling stones weigh between 38 and 44 pounds and can last decades. One company, Kays of Scotland, handcrafts most professional and all Olympic stones using granite from a single small uninhabited
I'm sorry, what?
uninhabited island off the coast of Scotland.
Just so everybody knows, that means nobody lives there, boys and girls.
Granite from Isla Craig is exceptionally fine-grained. Its minerals are arranged in such a way that tightly knits them together. The density makes the granite particularly resilient to collision and allows it to be polished to a finish smooth enough to glide on ice.
Why is it you can bluff your way through the Scottish translation but can't do the English part? Does that have something to do with family history, dear?
Because if I mispronounce the Scottish, who knows?
Well, that's true. Somebody.
As long as it has a good accent, like, that's probably right.
Somebody. See, it's not about what you say. It's how you sound when you do it.
As long as he sounds like Sir Sean Connery.
If you sound confident, you must be right.
You got to slur it a little bit like Sean Connery.
Oh, okay.
so it sounds correct.
Yes, dear, whatever you say.
So, yeah, next time you see some curling, no, that's some Scottish stones.
Absolutely, it should be.
But that's all I got for you this week. We'll be right back with Nerd News.
Yeah.
And now it's time for all things nerdy in Nerd News.
And it's time for Nerd News.
Yay, news.
Alrighty. We've, start things on a down note and then work our way back to something more fun. We lost a 90s legend, or was that early 2000s?
Late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there.
James Van Der Beek.
That's sad.
Dawson's Creek star passed away at the young age of 48. He was colon cancer.
Yep. I think he left behind like 6 kids.
I always liked him as an actor.
Varsity Blues was great.
Yeah, Varsity Blues. What was it? Texas Rangers. Did you ever see that one? That was a good ass movie. I mean, hell, he was even in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
True.
I mean, the dude had a great career. I saw some of Dawson's Creek, but
I watched
But
some
it
of
wasn't
it.
my, yeah.
It wasn't exactly my
jam.
cup of tea, but like I watched some of it. Some of it was pretty good.
But yeah, some of the stuff he done after the Creek, I always, like I said, Varsity Blues is one of those, like, I think we still, anytime someone gets sick while we're drinking, it's like, you gonna go call some dinosaurs?
Yep.
And, you know, the old whipped cream bikini is legendary.
Absolutely. Gotta love it.
Well, in better news, John Wick game coming out, and they've announced that not only is his likeness going to be appearing, Mr. Keanu Reeves is voicing John Wick in the video game
as he should
adaptation. New John Wick game from Saber Interactive and Sony State of Play. It'll be available on PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox, and Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5. But yeah, we will currently don't have a release date yet, but yeah, Keanu will be voicing and also appearing as John Wick in the game.
Because who else are you going to get? Who else is going to do it?
Yeah, because I mean, if it's like the Hitman games or just like a straight up like action shooter, that's going to be unless I may have to finally get a PS5 so I can play the John Wick game when it comes out. And of course, the Bowl of Super happened last week, which means we got
a
shitload of new movie trailers premiering. First off, we've got coming out March 20th. Project Hail Mary.
Rocky. I am Rocky.
Apparently, a school teacher, for some reason, ends up becoming an astronaut and is the only person sent on this mission to save the galaxy. Because I guess from the trailer, it looks like the sun is dying and he's trying to like reboot the stars and ends up running into a friendly alien who's also on a similar mission because his planet is also dying because the suns are dying.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
I think that's what they're actually doing.
Cool.
So yeah, it's Ryan Gosling and a rock in space trying to reboot the sun.
I mean, it looks okay. It looks cute.
But it's from the same people that made the movie The Martian, and The Martian was a pretty good movie. It's one of those that I'm like, I've always seen in bits and pieces because it seems to like be on the at the TV at the cigar shop like at least like once a month. So I keep seeing like different. I've seen them. I think I've seen the entire movie now, but I see it in like segments throughout the year. And we also got a cute teaser trailer. Didn't really show us any new footage for The Mandalorian and Grogu coming out May 22nd.
But the commercial's cute, though.
I mean, because, yeah, if you're familiar with Super Bowl ads, there's always, like, some kind of Budweiser Clydesdale ad, so it was Mando and Grogu and some kind of chariot, instead of
Budweiser, or instead of Clydesdales?
Clydesdales, it was, Tauntauns, and voiced by the legendary, Sam Elliott.
That makes everything better.
That was a pretty badass trailer.
That was pretty good.
And I'm going to talk really slow because someone is trying to get me to speed this up. This is like usually a 10-15 minute segment. We're only like 5 minutes in, so I can't speed run through this. We actually have to talk about the things.
Okay.
I kind of want Sam Elliott to be a character in like Mando and Grogu now, though.
I mean, I want Sam Elliott to be a character in everything, but like, the man deserves to have some time off.
He could be a wise old Mando that teaches him about the way. And we got some horror movies coming out. Actually, coming out this month. On February 27th, we're getting the next chapter of the Scream series. With
Scream 725.
Yeah, actually,
it's like the Fast and the Furious. They're just racing back and forth to see who can produce more sequels.
I know Jenna Ortega's in some of these sequels. I don't know if she survived the last movie or not. I didn't see her in this trailer, but because I'm like at least 3 movies behind on the Scream
I
series.
didn't see anything after the second one, I don't think.
I saw the first 4, maybe. But yeah, I've not been on the renewed Scream series. But yeah, Gail Weathers is back and Sydney is back. I think that's the only
2 survivors.
2 survivors.
2 that are left.
But apparently she has a daughter now who's like the same age she was when the first murders happened, and now the killer's trying to kill her daughter. So we'll
see.
Maybe I'll get around to watching the last 3 movies.
We'll
so
have to do a Scream marathon and just like
so I can get
roll
caught
through
up
them.
for the new one when it comes out. But it looks like typical Scream shit. Like I said, I do love a good slasher. We don't get many of those anymore.
It might be good. Just have to set aside a day to marathon it.
And speaking of Screams,
I
got the first trailer for the Michael Jackson movie, aka Michael. No release date yet, but it's coming soon, it said, so it'll be sometime this year. Yeah,
hypothetically. We'll see how that goes.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
It looks pretty good. It's directed by Anton Fuqua from, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Training Day being probably his biggest, but... And, I mean, I think this is being put out by the family, so I doubt they'll get into the...
Oh, of course.
The darker stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to go there.
But, I mean, there was so many, recreations of, famous Michael Jackson scenes. Like that, there's a brief clip of, the Thriller music video with, the actor playing Michael, and I'm like, that's one of those, legendary music videos that's, it's still probably one of the greatest music videos ever done, so I'm like, and I hate to say it because...
One of the most involved, for sure.
And, I mean, a lot of allegations against Michael, never convicted, but his music, they still play it on the radios. He's, been uncancelable.
Yeah, pretty much.
P. Diddy, R. Kelly, as soon as those dudes went to jail, you never heard their music in public much anymore. But, Michael, everyone's like, yeah, we know he was probably a pervert, but damn, he made some good-ass music.
Yeah, well, agree to disagree on that one.
And lastly, we have, basically I'm calling this Jack Reacher versus Aliens.
Yeah.
New Netflix movie coming out March 6th, starring Alan I never can pronounce his name. The guy who plays Jack Reacher as a Army Ranger who stumbles across what appears to be an alien spaceship on a mission that comes to life and starts trying to kill everybody.
That looks pretty good. I wouldn't mind seeing that. That looks pretty good.
So yeah, it looks like
I'll have to watch that when it comes out.
Pretty badass action film of team of Army Rangers having to fight some kind of indestructible alien war machine. Hence the title. But yeah, it looked pretty high budget for a Netflix original. Which
a lot of Netflix originals are pretty high budget.
I mean, like I said, the Netflix originals have been mostly damn good movies. I'm surprised they're not theatrical. And I'm also surprised it's being Netflix because Alan's done a lot for Prime.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's all we got for you this week. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com. We're on the ESO Network at esonetwork.com. We're on X, Instagram, and Facebook at Cigar Nerd Pod. We are on the YouTubes. Go watch the video of me talking to myself for an hour over on at Cigar Nerd Podcast on the YouTubes. Get your energy at strikeforceenergy.com, promo code Cigar Nerds. Get your shirt at realmensmokecigars.com. And with that, remember the golden rule. Do unto others before they do unto you.
Yes, dear.
And this has been a recording of the Cigar Nerd Podcast with your hosts, Smokin' Joe and Brad Jackson. Join us next time for more adventures in nerddom.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.